Stop the music, everybody. Here you have me, George Hiotis, Advanced Squad Leader with George Hiotis. And today, what I want to bring to you is an after-action report for scenario 141, action at Balberkamp. I guess it's somewhere in Norway. And this scenario was first introduced in the module called Crescendo of Doom. Um, yeah, whereabouts is it? This one right here. Yep. And we played it three-way, with Mark Dennehy being the Germans, um, Dennis being the Norwegians, and I'm being the British, being the fellow that is Canadian. Before I go any further, I want to try and do this AAR with um, the help of a good friend called Donald. Donald doesn't want his last name revealed because he's very shy, and he's quite a wealthy man, and we've played golf on his account, although he cheated and won. Um, up north here, somewhere in Estrel. So, with no further ado, say good morning, Donald.
Good morning.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Donald is with me, and he'll be analyzing as well as me, because I think he's a very smart fellow. So, Donald, are you smart?
Yeah. Yes.
There you have it. If he says that, it has to be that way. And what do you think about my friend group, my advanced squad leader friend group, that being well, the Thursday and Friday night crowd?
Oh, you're Boy Scouts, but you know life. You know life.
Thank you, Donald. With no further ado, let's get into that after action report, and we might ask Donald a couple of other questions here and there. So basically, what you see here, and I'll zoom in later, is the end of each turn, and we played it up to turn 12. And there's a great plan being unfolded by Mark here, being the German player. He has a group of mobile, or what I'd like to call mobile infantry or mechanized infantry, and that involves at least one half track and a truck towing an infantry gun. And their goal is to go up, skirt around, and take up a position here, okay, to thwart any uh, careless advance from the British player. Now, the way that and as well, there's an infantry group that comes in and tries to clear the road here. Because in order to win this scenario, you need a contiguous line road that stems from one end of the board to the other. And there's a couple of junctions here. Oops, hold on. So there's a couple of junctures right there, okay, and right here. Let's not mention these places here that would thwart a German victory if we're able to capture them. So we all made a number of mistakes, I think, in this scenario, and I'll talk about them. Tactical errors, I suppose. Now, the Norwegian player did set up across a very thin line, and there were lessons to be learned here. Um, because I can understand Dennis's concern that he didn't want his units to be flanked. So, and there were quite a few dummy units that the German player would need to go from one end of the board to the other to clear them, because you don't know where the real units are. There's a couple of lessons learned here, namely here, there is a rule that stipulates you cannot fire an HMG from a gully hex, which makes sense because it has to be mounted on a tripod at least, or if not, you consider yourself Rambo, and at close range you might have a good effect, but at long range you won't. So, By the way, guys, this is not Starbucks coffee. It's instant coffee, Nescafe. Love it to death. Don't tell me it's bad. Anyway, so that was the German setup. I mean, the Norwegian setup, and um, I was quite happy with it because you'll see what happens later. Um, yeah. As for the British, I was out of the game for a very long time because you have to come in based on a dice roll. And ultimately, what I wanted to do is, yeah, Mark coached me into about trying to set up entrenched here, uh, here, and here, whereby he would have to split up his forces into three. But of course, if he managed to establish a fire base here with an infantry gun, that wouldn't hold true because we all know that German infantry guns can fire at long range and hit their targets quite well. Um, yeah, and instead, what I opted to do was entrench at least in one area where it was favorable here, and punch a hole this way. I'm pretty proud of my drawing, and that way. I almost succeeded, but this group here uh, had great mobility, really walked over the Norwegians here, and I ended up being uh, one group was successful but did not advance. The other group that I had ended up um, being encircled here and here on this side of the board here. And my attack faltered because um, Mark already had a good set of troops here, good firepower. And although I took the building in N2, 3 N2, it was not enough um, time to either capture this juncture here. Let's see, let's zoom in. So what I'm talking about here is this juncture here. Let's clean up the board. So what I'm talking about is, give me a moment, get a brush out. Yeah, this juncture here, because that effectively um, ruins the contiguous line, um, more or less. Yeah, he could have opted instead to go, I guess, trace a line around here. So the next juncture that would probably be important would be here. Oops, very challenged at getting those lines drawn here and here. Anywho, let's take a look in the map and see the end of turn one. How did it look like? And basically, we didn't have any major sniper rolls, but the German player was effectively using his dispersed smoke and his AFE properly. He did go CX. He left some of his uh, uh, vehicles in motion, so he wouldn't have to expend an extra movement point to go back uh, and expend an extra movement point for nothing. And he has a good killer stack here. Um, we, the Norwegian player tried to uh, interdict, but to no avail. And I guess this fellow here, he could have been better set up in the building here to take advantage of eliminating people at this end of the spectrum. Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's go on to the next slide. So that's the end of turn one, very uneventful. Turn two, pretty much the same, and except that this fellow conceals. So this is the end of turn one for the let's get rid of that Close, close, close. Yeah. Let's get rid of the lines here. One button I have to press. There. Okay. So end of ally turn one. Nothing much has changed, and there's no way the British player can come in because the German player enters as per SSR4, and SSR4 is pretty much uh, a random DR to, to get in. And just to a quick overview of um, the victory conditions. The Germans win if at game end they can trace a line of contiguous road hexes from the south edge of the to the north edge of the playing area, free of good order enemy units on adjacent to it. There you go. So let's go on to play a German player turn two. And here we have a bit of engagements, more dispersed smoke, um, an establishment of a fire group here and here, and these fellows are just going to, uh, well, cautiously jump across the street and take on these units here, whether they're real or fake. Um, Ally turn two. Well, we did manage a pin result here. Uh, Rickerson, Lieutenant Rickerson here, did a good job at holding up the Germans. Here you see a killer stack and with a 9-1 leader, and cautious headway is how I call the German progress so far. Allied turn two. Well, that's the end of Allied turn two. We see a couple of units here being encircled, a couple of other units attempting to be encircled, and these units reveal themselves because they wanted to stop this group of infantry up here from going to their objective, which is the hill on board 2, Hill 621, with their infantry gun. Or maybe that guy was reconnaissance, just to try to make the Norwegians reveal themselves. Having said that, I think there was a little bit of impatience here with the Norwegians versus the Germans because um, you really need to eliminate units and ensure that they won't pop up in your rear. And I think you'll see that what had transpired here soon enough. Okay, turn 3A, turn 3B. Again, the British players has not brought up their units. Not much has changed, except here there's a complete overrun of the unit guarding the road from here to there. Awesome. 4A. 4A, so the Germans have eliminated all the units here, and now they pose a very big danger um, to the fire group established here. This was our biggest mistake, where heavy machine gun was set up in that ditch, and ultimately we couldn't uh, fire it from there. And I guess the other error that we've made here was that we overly guarded this. Maybe it's an error, maybe not. We overly guarded this bridge location here. But did we do it effectively? No, I don't think so. Um, yeah, I think ultimately what would be a better strategy is to leave a rear guard here and then position some real good units in areas where they can retreat into the village and guard the key junctions to the road. Uh, Something to be said, and rethought of after um, as an afterthought, I suppose. So 4A, let's go to 4B. 4B, we're looking at close action here, right? We're looking at the uh, early Panzer T going around and harassing everybody. And Staller is going up. Did I name him Staller or Steiner? Steiner. Steiner is going up. He's going up and gaining ground. He's a runaway. Yeah, we won't ask Donald for his opinion. Maybe later Donald can interject. All right, let's go on to 5A. All right, so here we have an AAFE in motion trying to, it is doing reconnaissance work. So here is our biggest threat is that infantry gun infiltrating the lines and going up the hill. And that's why Dennis here started shooting to no avail. And, when you're shooting at a soft vehicle, you should be able to negate them. But um, I think Mark played this game pretty cleverly, um, pretty well. It was not without damage. As you can see here, he has a stack of broken units. So, can't complain about Dennis's work, handiwork. Dennis the Menace. Hey, undo this. Let's go to 5B. 5B, that's the end of our turn. And that Panzer is still around. And he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be because you can eliminate him with MG fire. But anywho, we did get some units that were broken and they managed to run away. And at 6 movement factors, that is a great way to do a running retreat, as long as you have rally points where they can be rallied again without the need of a self-rally. So let's go to 6A. 6A. Well, this is a nice fire group here, and we're about to break it up, I suppose. But the Panzer is doing a good job, and over here, um, uh, Mark retreated his forces to eliminate these units and provide a free corridor. Uh, it's not only to provide a free corridor, but eventually these units here, except for the disrupted unit, can wreak havoc by going behind his lines and trying to capture a point on this side of the road here. What an after action report it's been so far. And here's our first attempt to try and eliminate the Panzer. He has wrecked the CMG. His CMG is his main armament, and he's still a smoke discharger fellow, even without the CMG. There's no need to repair it and get recalled. You just leave it on and use it for the other purposes. So use the AFE for other purposes, either as a smoke discharger or a machine gun carrier, or even a troop carrier after 1943. Hmm. Yeah, 6B, halfway through the scenario. 7A, we still have a unit that's concealed here. Some units have been running into the village. So far, this road here is nice and clear. This position has been overrun by the enemy. And Sven, he's holding his ground. Actually, Sven would probably be, we could probably characterize him as a hero of Norway, because he held up a lot of Germans. And the German reinforcements came in, and lo and behold, now we have the biggest threat to my plan ever, because here is the major fire group, um, and I was debating as to what to do. So the German player brings his own reinforcements in first. I guess my guess was wrong. Oh well, that's 7A, 7B, and here's where I put in my my reinforcements. I have two Stackbergs, one here, one there. They're killer stacks. Actually, I should have brought the 9 minus 1 leader here. He's over there. And the 8 minus 1 should have been here. And I should not have advanced that far on. But I said to myself, you know what? What's he going to do? If I bring a force here and he doesn't have enough firepower to attack me, um, can I conceivably come into close combat and take him on? And that's what I should have done. But there were impediments to that plan. Here, of course, it took me forever to entrench one unit. And when I advanced up the tree line, he already scattered his units towards the back, and he has a killer stack here as well. Uh, and these guys are on their merry way to establish a fire base up in the highest crest of Hill 621. They disrupted one unit, but some folks routed back. So not easy going for the German player so far. 7B. Let's progress to 8A. Oops, there you go, 8A. 8A. Now, whatever remnants are left over here, um, are about to be overrun by a good amount of force. As you can see here, trying to eliminate some units with a heavy machine gun result in a leader. And again, this guy should not have been there. He should have been in the building, either here or there, and then advanced into there or advanced somewhere else where he can really wreak havoc on anybody trying to capture this juncture. Some units were advanced into here, so that juncture is pretty much blocked. And then Mark correctly saw the need to retreat some units and go after these units that are now going to try and establish a base here somewhere south of his lines and cause him to lose the game. All right, let's progress again. Now, here was my major folly, is thinking that this guy was invincible. And there was a couple lucky shots there. Here's my unit trying to entrench on that road. And I wasn't aware of what was here, but he did have a nice killer stack here. And ultimately, when I started firing and unconcealing my units, that's where the bells and whistles started singing. And this fellow here is making good progress, but again, uh, what is Mark's strength is the fact that he has a half track that can go from one end of the board to the other. And I kind of discounted that completely. And the fight here for this juncture is not going too well for the Norwegians because there is a cautious advance going on. And here's where we corrected our bug. We just put that unit in there. Yep. 9A. 9A. Now the fight for this juncture really begins. The fire here has been very ineffective, and ultimately Mark advances the hero up to there. And he is going after these units in earnest. These units are firing, trying to thwart the enemy. I'm still more or less intact and cautiously advancing up this line. But these units here are about to be encircled, unbeknown to me, but Should have been obvious. Should have been obvious, and I think holding a position here would have been much better, a lot better, uh, in hindsight. Yeah, but I guess I was trying to go for the junctures, the key junctures. Now, to use this tactic effectively, the British player should have gone on the board a lot sooner, and than the Germans, and that would have been pretty much it. Yeah, I could have played this game more smartly as a British player. Yeah. Line being, um, this is where the British attack starts to falter. One guy is broken, and now where is my route location? A plausible route location, and the only way he could go anywhere would be to low crawl to here, or try and take interdiction and go in the woods, and then start really going back. But again, really horrible position here, especially with the gate open, no wall protection, and once these guys start a fire group, um, things go south pretty quickly. But also, Mark was kind enough, smart enough to put a uh, a good order leader here with an infantry gun and a machine gun. The half track, he can fire group with a half track, and the bridge here is faltering a lot. One good thing was that the mortar um, copped out. But look, what Mark does not have in terms of dice rolls and luck, he has in uh, it forced him the inability to roll low and um, get lucky has forced Mark to become a great tactical player. And that's what we see. He has a rear guard that can go after units that are infiltrated. He has an advanced guard, and look, his 9-1 leaders is leading the attack. Here are heroes leading the attack. And he has a nice good order leader here as well, uh, you know, defending this area there. And uh, unbeknown to me, Staller, being a 9-2, was over here, and he could have wreaked havoc um, uh, for the British, but lo and behold, ultimately, in a strange course of events, Staller ended up being a prisoner and his units eliminated. That's a first for Staller in any scenario I've played. All right, going on to the next one. This is 10B. Yep, with 10B, this is about to fall. The good order unit is now uh, broken, and this is a dummy. This guy's disrupted. This fellow dashed all the way down to here, and the Germans are coming for him. There's one rear guard unit there. And up there, I'm pretty much broken everywhere and encircled, trying to go back. Um, Here I'm finally opening up, and I got a good fire group here. And here I infiltrated, and I'm trying to gain this juncture here. Which wouldn't have made a difference ultimately, because you can trace the contiguous line from here to there to everywhere. So there was two junctures that were important, really. Here and there. Yeah. I guess as the Norwegian player, you can always skulk as well. Here's the downfall of the bridge. Here he established a good firing position, and I was hoping that this unit was real, but it wasn't, unfortunately. Unfortunately. And here I am encircled. Now, we saw one potential chance of capturing this key juncture which involved the leader moving up the road. And lo and behold, this guy almost won the game for us by running around this in this direction and trying to jump in the ditch over here. He nearly won the game. He nearly won the game, but did not. Here, I just cleaned out the building, ready to go and capture this juncture as well. But again, the only way this game would have been won here, this was cleaned out. Stoller became a prisoner. The only way we could have won this game here at this juncture was if this guy successfully captured this ditch here, which he didn't, and if this fellow here was not ultimately eliminated, but he was broken. That's the end of the photographs, and that's really how the cookie crumbled. Yeah. So it was a victory for Mark Dennehy as a German player. Congratulations, Mark. Dennis, well played, and I wish I could have played better. And our next three-player game will be about capture of Balta. So Dennis and I will be the Germans. I'll be the German and Romanian reinforcements, and Dennis will be the main crux of the attack, and Mark will be playing the Russians, and you know that's a way of playing it where you know you have two different commanders on the same side and trying to coordinate their attack. It adds a certain interesting element to the game. Now, with that said, I haven't heard anything from Donald, and I might ask him his opinion about something. Hold on a sec. I'm just going to confide with Donald to see if he has any further remarks, okay? So, yeah. So, Donald did confide with me that he has something to say, and he just wants to say how he finds me and my channel. And Donald, take it away. I'll give the floor to you.
You're the most amazing guy.
Thank you, Donald. That's pretty nice of you to say that. Anything else?
You have everything going. The world is waiting for you to be president.
Donald, we already talked about that. I have no interest in politics. I do not want to become president. And by the way, here in Canada, we don't have presidents. We have prime ministers.
That is so wrong. Down the wrong. National debt. Wrong.
Donald, I couldn't hear what you just said, but anywho. Yeah, any final advice for advanced squad leader players?
We've got to be poker players. We've got to be chess players.
Well, that's great advice. Well, Donald, thanks for joining me in this after action report. I'm sure people appreciated your advice and your insights, and we look forward to speaking to you again. And ladies and gentlemen, that was my after action report for Scenario 141, Action at Balberkamp, originally from Crescendo of Doom. And it's a very interesting game to play with three players. So if, you know what they say, three's company, two's a crowd, or something to that effect. Take care and have a great week ahead. Thank you for liking and subscribing. George, over and out.